Study 23 Practical Value made clear. What do you need to do? Help your audience to see how your subject affects their lives or can be used by them in a beneficial way. Why is it important? If people do not see the practical value of what you are saying, they may tell you that they are not interested, or they may tune out mentally, allowing their minds to wander. Whether you are speaking to an individual or to a larger audience, it is unwise to assume that your listener will be interested in your subject just because you are interested in it. Your message is important, but if you fail to make clear its practical value, you will probably not hold the interest of your audience very long. This is true of even a Kingdom Hall audience. They may mentally tune in when you use an illustration or experience that they have not heard before. But they may tune out when you talk about things they already know, especially if you fail to build on those things. You need to help them see why and how what you are saying is of real benefit to them. The Bible encourages us to think in practical terms. Proverbs 3:21, Jehovah used John the Baptizer to direct people to the practical wisdom of righteous ones. Luke 1:17, this is wisdom that is rooted in wholesome fear of Jehovah. Psalms 111:10, those who appreciate this wisdom are helped to cope successfully with life now and to lay hold on the real life, the eternal life to come. 1 Timothy 4:8, 6-19. Making a talk practical. If your talk is going to be practical, you must give careful thought not only to the material but also to the audience. Do not think of them merely as a group. That group is made up of individuals and families. There may be very young ones, teenagers, adults, and some who are elderly. There may be newly interested ones as well as those who began serving Jehovah before you were born. Some may be spiritually mature, others may still be strongly influenced by certain attitudes and practices of the world. Ask yourself, how might the material I am going to discuss benefit those in the audience? How can I help them to get the point? You may decide to give principal attention to just one or two of the groups mentioned here. However, do not completely forget the others. What if you are assigned to discuss a basic Bible teaching? How can you make such a talk beneficial to an audience that already believes the teaching? Endeavor to strengthen their conviction in it. How? By reasoning on the scriptural evidence supporting it. You can also deepen their appreciation for that Bible teaching. This might be done by showing how the teaching is consistent with other Bible truths and with Jehovah's own personality. Use examples, real-life experiences if possible, that show how understanding this particular teaching has benefited people and has influenced their outlook on the future. Do not confine practical application to a few brief remarks in the conclusion of your talk. Right from the start, each person in your audience should feel that this involves me. Having laid that foundation, continue to make practical application as you develop each of the main points in the body of the talk as well as in the conclusion. When making application, be sure to do it in a manner that is consistent with Bible principles. What does it mean? It means doing it in a loving way and showing empathy. 1 Peter 3:8, 1 John 4:8, even when dealing with difficult problems in Thessalonica, the Apostle Paul made it a point to highlight the positive aspects of the spiritual progress of his Christian brothers and sisters there. He also expressed confidence that in the matter then being discussed, they would want to do what is right. 1 Thessalonians 4:1-12, what a fine pattern to imitate. Is your talk meant to stimulate participation in the work of preaching and teaching the good news to others? Build up enthusiasm and appreciation for the privilege. While doing so, however, keep in mind that the extent to which individuals are able to share in this varies, and the Bible takes this into account. Matthew 13:23, Do not burden your brothers with feelings of guilt. Hebrews 10:24 urges us to incite to love and fine works. If we incite to love, works based on a good motive will follow. Rather than seeking to dictate conformity, recognize that what Jehovah wants is for us to promote obedience by faith. Romans 16:26. With this in mind, we seek to strengthen faith, both our own and that of our brothers. Helping others to get the point. As you witness to others, do not fail to highlight the practical value of the good news. Doing so requires that you consider what is on the minds of the people in your territory. How can you find out? Listen to the news on the radio or television. Look at the front page of the newspaper. Also, endeavor to draw people into conversation, and listen when they talk. You may find that they are grappling with pressing problems: loss of a job, paying the rent, illness, death of a family member, danger from crime, injustice at the hands of someone in authority, breakup of a marriage, keeping young children under control, and so forth. Can the Bible help them? Absolutely. When starting a conversation, you will likely have a subject in mind. However, if the person indicates that some other issue is of pressing personal interest, do not hesitate to discuss that instead if you are able to do so, or offer to return with some helpful information. Of course, we avoid meddling with what does not concern us, but we gladly share with others the practical counsel that the Bible offers. 2 Thessalonians 3:11. Obviously, what will impress people most is Bible counsel that touches their own lives. If people cannot see how our message affects them personally, they may quickly end the conversation. Even if they let us talk, failure on our part to show the practical value of the subject may mean that our message will have very little effect on their lives. In contrast, if we make the practical value of the message clear, our discussion could mark the turning point in people's lives. When conducting Bible studies, continue to highlight practical application. Proverbs 4:7 helps students to understand scriptural counsel, principles, and examples that show them how to walk in Jehovah's ways. Emphasize the benefits that come from doing so. Isaiah 48:17-18. This will move students to make needed changes in their lives. Build up in them love for Jehovah and a desire to please Him, and let the motivation to apply counsel from God's Word come from within. How to do it. When preparing a talk, consider not only the material but also your audience. Present it in a way that will really benefit them. Practical application should not be reserved for your conclusion. It should be evident throughout your talk. When preparing to give a witness, consider what is on the minds of the people in your territory. When witnessing, really listen to the other person, and adapt your presentation accordingly. Exercise. Review issues of our Kingdom ministry that are available to you, and select 1 or 2 presentations that you feel are especially practical for use in your territory. Try them out in the field service,